Welcome to another edition of Because They Matter. Forever on a mission, committing to encouraging, educating, and empowering parents, raising their children in an impactful and loving way. Because they matter. Now let's welcome our co-hosts, former single-parent mom and founder of Single Parent Advocate in Dallas, Texas, Stacie Martin. Also along, founder of Single But Not Alone, and the reigning Miss Capital City, Illinois, Rhiannon Graham. And I'm Scott Murray, speaker, author, journalist, and CEO of the Scott Murray Scholarship Foundation and Lifting Spirits, Building Dreams. We welcome you all to Because They Matter. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to yet another edition of Because They Matter. My name is Scott, and we're alongside with Rhiannon Graham and Stacie Martin. Ladies, hello. Great to have you on board. How you doing?
We're doing great.
Good holiday?
Absolutely.
How about you, Rhiannon?
Glad to be here. Yes, so glad to be here again.
You're up in the city of Chicago, Illinois, Miss Capital City, I might add, up there in the state of Illinois. Very nice. Yeah, so how was the Christmas? How was the holiday?
It was great. It was great to spend time with family, and 2023 has truly just been such a great year for me. And, you know, with the Christmas and New Year's coming up, it was just great, and I feel very thankful and blessed this year.
Best part about the holiday season, what was it?
Definitely spending time with my family, especially my mom. We have a lot of Christmas traditions, like going to see lights. And we actually took my dog Biscuit. He turned a year on the 20th, and I actually turned 23 on the 20th of December too with him. So we were able to go watch Christmas lights, and that was truly just a joy to spend time with my family.
Very cool. Very cool. She has to be a show-off when she says she turned 23, you know?
I know. It's painful.
You look 23, Stacie Martin. That's all that matters, my friend. Well, let's talk about Christmas for you here in the great state of Texas. How about it?
Oh, there were so many miracles this Christmas. Rhiannon, I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, but we had a giant toy truck filled with toys for single parent advocate families, and someone broke into the truck. And then what happened was the whole city activated and brought us 2 more trucks of toys for the families and for the kids.
She got some great media coverage on the television, and people said, oh my gosh, how can I make a difference? Those poor kids are going to miss out on all those toys, even down to the point of, it was incredible. And even down to the point of food. Some of the things that we all take for granted, and yet some of these people, and of course you're single parent advocates and what have you, this organization that you founded, lucky 13 years ago, wasn't that it?
2009.
That's what I thought. And there you go. And again, everybody rallying after you had this horrendous thing happen. And, you know, how do you break into a truck like that? There was glass shattered and everything. All the toys were gone. And people came through, and you probably ended up with twice as many toys as you had in the truck, huh?
I would say 3 times as many.
Isn't that something? America's a good place to be. Thank you, America.
Is. It was huge. And so I just have to say I was also able to partner with another charity, Boys and Girls Clubs of Denton County, which is where our offices are. And that locking of arms just felt like incredible. Texas State Guard came out. It was truly, I would say, one of the biggest experiences I have ever had about the spirit of Christmas.
Well, I tell you what, I've been on the board of trustees of the greater Dallas area of the Boys and Girls Club, and it's incredible, this organization and what they do every single day, and have been at golf tournaments and fundraisers and what have you for decades, and they just make a difference in the life of children, life of a child.
Right.
And it simply doesn't get any better than that.
Well, it had me tabling the topic in my head, the power of a toy. What's the power of a toy in the life of a child? What is the power of a toy in being able to equip and empower a parent to give that toy?
Absolutely.
And there were even a couple of kids, guys, that they said, do you have something I can give my mom or my dad? And I did have a little stash
little extra,
of that. And those kiddos were so empowered and just aglow with the fact that they could give their parents something. So it was super.
And we like to think the great state of Texas, as I always refer to it, as is just so generous. And yet up in Chicago, I'm sure lots of generous folks up there in your area as well.
Yes, and I'm just so glad to hear that the community was able to come together after that tragic event happened and really came through for the single families in Texas. So I'm glad that was a huge success.
What are some of the things that you do when it comes to charity? As we kidded around about the fact that you're only 23, Rhiannon, but I mean, still, you've got a great start to your young life. I just wondered, you've been around for a couple of decades plus, but when it comes to philanthropic endeavors, what are some of the things that you like to really focus on?
So being involved in pageants since the age of 3, what a lot of people don't know is that the Miss America crown actually has 4 points, and one of those points stands for service. So each girl has their service initiative of what they do to help others. And of course, mine really drives deep within single families because that is the struggles that my mother and I endured growing up. So I actually really did a toy drive here in the Chicagoland area and was able to give back to children of single families to make sure that they had toys for Christmas this year. So thank you so much for clapping for me.
No,
That was
good for you.
exciting because I know as a young adult how many children go without toys on Christmas. And actually the sad part is how many children would rather have basic necessities like socks, food, clothing for Christmas. So it was a real joy to see those children come in and get to have those toys and be a child.
Yep, it's funny too because you take things like that just automatically. You know, we grew up, we knew we were going to get some toys from good old Santa Claus every Christmas, and and then it was time to have dinner. No problem. But some people didn't even know where that next meal was going to be coming from. And so to make a difference in that respect, and then of course the toys on top of that, and to see the smiles on their faces, and just oh my gosh, when I was over at your event, I just went, this is like a fairy tale. This is unreal.
Scott was quite impressive at the event when he won the hula hoop contest.
Oh, now that's something I'd have
Don't
to
tell
believe.
anybody.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we have no video to share with you.
Oh my goodness. I wish there was the video. Next time you get a video, Stacie.
It was a treat. It was a treat.
We had hula hoop contests and all kinds of games for the kids at the Christmas gathering. And we had such an overflow of generosity. We had to have two separate events. And so it was just amazing. And, today we were going to talk a little bit about, what went good for the holidays, but also maybe what if you had a curveball this Christmas? How do you deal with that? How do you help your kids deal with it?
And of course, a lot of folks say, where'd this show come from, Scott? You have been emceeing some events for Stacie and her single parent advocate endeavors over the years. And I said I did. And she asked me to be on the advisory board. I said I'd be happy to. And someone that's studied to be a pediatrician because my best friend died of leukemia when we were both in second grade. I've always wanted to work with young people and in medical things and what have you, and just make a difference. And my degree's in psychology, so anything to do to help those young kids is most important. And as you well know, Stacie and Rhiannon, I think I've told you in the past, my keynote across the country is Leadership America, creating champions of change through a culture of civility, because people have simply lost the ability to be kind, courteous, and respectful to one another. So let's get out there, let's make a difference, let's help those that need a helping hand. And so one of the things that I did is Leadership America, because you can. And that's what my father used to tell me all the time. He'd say, that's all right. He'd throw me a ground ball or he'd throw me the football and I'd drop it. I'd get so frustrated. He said, that's all right. You can get it up. Come on, you can do it again because you can. Because you can. And every day my parents used to tell me when I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, go in front of the mirror when you get up in the morning, say he or she back, whoever's looking back at you, know that person is going to be the one that's going to make everything that day, all the decisions in your life go forward. So make them positive and productive in a very passionate way. So you do that because you can. So that's where the name of this program came from, Because They Matter. And we're talking about those kids that need a helping hand because they can't, because they need a helping hand. And we want to teach them that they can as they move forward because they matter. So we want everybody that's listening to this to know because they matter, because of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sense?
Absolutely. I couldn't say it better myself.
Yep, that's what it's all about. So, and you were going to start us off today.
Yeah, talk about curveballs at Christmas.
Right.
Because we talked about all the good stuff.
Well, you had a big curveball just before Christmas. We already shared that. And that's, of course, the breaking into the truck and what have you.
Yeah, it was a big curveball. Yeah. And so I got to thinking about, how did we deal with that, right? Because we wanted to talk about it. And the first thing is a C word. It's community. Yeah. If you think about it, like one of the ways to get through curveballs, regardless of where it is in your life, is to not isolate,
Yeah. Well, the C word reminds me of all the positive C words that I share with the perfect 10. Credibility, continuity, creativity, consistency, character. And then you go to courage, commitment, character, compassion, conversation, not confrontation, but conversation. And you do it by making good choices. And that's what allows you to become a champion. No more to be said. That's what it's all about. So, because you can, because they matter. That's what it's all about. So,
Absolutely.
2024, that's your New Year's resolution for the next 12 months, right?
Absolutely.
And beyond. How about you? What's your New Year's resolution?
Of course, it's to continue helping single families. I'm really looking to, in 2024, I'll be competing for the title of Miss Illinois in June. So that's super exciting that I've been looking forward to. So a lot of hard work, preparation is going into that, whether it's working on my talent, which is baton twirling, working on my interviewing skills, helping with my partnerships. A lot goes into it. So that's definitely one of my New Year's resolutions, is to continue working hard.
Where did you learn to speak the way you are? I've worked with people, both male and female, over the years, and all nationalities, all, whatever. And sometimes, especially girls, females, are a little timid. They're just so outspoken and outspoken in a positive way, but just really, right there and confident about who they are and what they're all about. And yet when it comes to getting on the radio or getting on TV or anything like this, like a podcast, they get a little hesitant. They're, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. Oh gosh, should I say this? Should I think? And you're just, don't you agree? She does she's so natural. Where did that come from?
Well, Miss America's slogan is preparing great women for the world and preparing the world for great women. And I truly believe that through pageantry, it's prepared me for the world, whether that's speaking abilities, interview skills, talent, professionalism. It's definitely accredited to pageant success because it puts you on the spot to interview, to talk to media, to be in podcasts like this. And truly, it's just over these 19 years of pageantry that I've been involved, I've just grown as a person within all these abilities.
Well, you've done well. Continued success, and we're just enamored to have you on the board. Have you here with us? No, you're great. You're great. All right, my friend. What are we going to kick it off with today? What's our subject matter?
So Rhiannon and I, we were talking about, curveball with kids at Christmas, and Rhiannon was expressing to me what it was like to be the child of a single parent. And I'm going to let her speak for herself, but Rhiannon, dig into that a little bit with us. What's that dynamic like?
So growing up, my Christmas memories are a little different because I would wake up on Christmas morning at my mom's house, excited to open presents from Santa, spend time with my mom, but only a couple hours later, I would be whisked away to my dad's house to celebrate at his house. And I don't think a lot of people who aren't in divided families like that realize the strain that has on children like that. And I want to speak a little bit today as a young adult now, what that's like for me. And actually, on TikTok, I've seen a lot of also young adults talk about how, oh my goodness, how am I supposed to go to all these different family Christmases in one day? Now that they're married, they have spouses' families, and then their spouses might have divorced parents. And I just think it's a huge conversation that we can talk about divided families at Christmas and how you make everyone happy dividing up that time.
Oh, Rhiannon, and I'll tell you what, before you tell us and share the history of what you endured, let me ask you, you said you'd be there with your mom, you'd wake up and you'd have Christmas with mom, and then you'd go to dad. How old were you when you first started doing that? Were your parents, were you 2 years old when they got divorced, or were you 10 years old?
I was 4 years old when my parents got divorced. So that started probably around 4 or 5 years old. And that truly just became the normal, that I would wake up at mom's house and then go to dad's for Christmas because they split Christmas Day.
And how often did you do that? I mean, or how many years did you do that? How long?
Yeah, I did it for probably a good decade, honestly. Okay. And it was a big hassle. Not saying that it wasn't good that I got to, have family with both sides of that Christmas, but it's a lot to put on a 5-year-old child to explain, hey, Santa visits here and Santa visits here. It's a big strain on that family dynamic.
Well, that's what I wondered. That's why I asked you how old you were. So if you could understand the whole dynamics of it.
Well, and there are families that, to your point, Rhiannon, they do realize that it's really a little bit of stress to be, going from one mode to another mode, that families that split, usually don't celebrate the holiday the same way. And so you have a whole change in your mindset. But I've even met different couples who are divorced, but they bring everybody together, and there's a commitment to positive and productive holidays together. But it's dealt with differently across the board. Didn't mean to step on you there. Sorry.
No, oh my goodness, you're fine. And I think what's important is, and I'm sure everyone can agree on this, keeping the child's best interest in mind, truly, of what they want to do and where they want to be on their holiday. But it's hard when you're a young child, when there's court custody and agreement and different things of that nature. And as a young adult now, it's, really affected me when I think about having my future family and where we'll go on Christmas and what my future husband's family dynamic might be and how many different foods I'm going to have to make for all those different occasions. And so it's just something to think about coming into my adulthood.
Let me ask you this. Siblings. Did you have brothers, sisters when you were with your mom when you wake up?
No,
were you?
I'm an only child.
You are, okay.
On both sides of my parents.
So, and mom or dad never remarried, and you had other brothers and sisters
just me. Just
you.
Me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and the dog.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Well, what happens a lot of times also when people are having to do the Christmas shuffle, let's call it, or the holiday shuffle, is you get stepbrothers, stepsisters, to your point. You get all of these other relatives, like let's say that you are a blended family on one side, a single family on the other.
And that's what I was asking about.
They have, and they know two people, and they know two people. And by the time the holiday happens, you're running this race. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's more kids than Santa has on his sleigh.
Right. And not to say there's anything wrong with blended families. Oh, my goodness. The more the merrier at some points. But for my instance, most of my mom's side of our family lives in North Carolina. So it truly, around holidays, it's just me and my mom and my dog Biscuit. And that's just us. That's how it's always been. That's the normal. But I think sometimes, and now as a young adult too, it can be hard to scroll on TikTok or Instagram and see all these peers that have these huge family gatherings at Christmas when it's just my mom and I.
Was Dad in the same town when you were growing up?
Yes, okay. Dad is in the same town.
Okay, so you just went across town to hook up with Dad for the second part of the Christmas.
Luckily, it wasn't too much of a strain, which some children, their families live, 3 hours away. I wasn't having to travel that far on Christmas Day and arrangements like that. Right. So I got lucky in that aspect that they did live in the same town.
All right, so here's my question, and then we'll turn it over to Stacie. If you were to share with our audience 3 things, just the dynamics of what you endured, what you had to go through, and yet as you look back now as a very together 23-year-old woman, what is the advice that you would share with parents and even to children too? You see a 7 or 8-year-old and you have a chance to sit down with them and talk to them about what's important in this world and how they should understand what's going on, and advice that maybe was given to you that you might give to them. Let's talk mom and dad first. What are the 3 things as a parent that you want to always make sure? Remember what your mom did for you, or for that matter, your dad when you finally got over there? What comes to mind?
Like I said earlier, keeping the child's best interest in heart. I think as a parent, and especially having to split your time, it can be hard for holidays like that. Well, you had them on Thanksgiving, so I want them on Christmas. But who gets them on New Year's and who gets them on Valentine's Day? It's a never-ending cycle. So I think what's truly best is keeping that child's interest in mind. And maybe that's for your family switching off every year. Maybe that's dad gets Christmas Eve, mom gets Christmas Day. Truly keeping what you think is best for the child's interest and not your own personal interest is what's best in mind, I think, for parents to think.
Anything else come to mind? What would you tell the children? What are the things?
Absolutely. The children, I think it's the hardest on because at such a young age, they don't understand. It's really hard to grasp that concept of, okay, you're going to wake up at mommy's, but then in a couple hours after you open all your presents, you have to leave all your presents here, and then you're going to go to dad's for the day. That's a really hard concept for children to grasp. So I think creating books and having books to read to your children that can explain, and actually I'm in the process of creating a book series called Single But Not Alone, where children can have those books and parents can open those conversations to their children in a more childlike way.
Very nice. I love the title, Single But Not Alone. That's great.
Thank you.
That's super. Very,
well,
very
Rhiannon
nice.
speaks in schools about this topic already and has a workbook, and we're really excited to collaborate on that. We found ourselves in this conversation. I have a book specifically dedicated to positive single parenting,
Right.
and she has this book specifically for single parent children.
For
So
the
we're
kiddos.
excited.
Right.
And
Yeah.
every time I visit those classrooms too, I know we talked a little bit earlier on how do we set these children up, really to understand. I have them create a success plan for themselves. So that success plan entails what activities are you involved in? How do you take care of your physical health? And how do you take care of your mental health? Because those three things right there will lead them to a successful future instead of falling into those statistics. Being incarcerated, addicted to drugs and alcohol. And I give those to every student when I visit those classrooms. And if they're a little younger, I have them draw a success picture of what their future will look like.
Yep. And on the single parenting side, we have successful single parenting and about, surrounding yourself with positive and productive people, understanding that you're different and it's not really fair to compare yourselves to other families and so forth. So we're going to be excited to dig into a little bit of that together right here on the show.
Let me ask you this, Stace. We asked Rhiannon about some of the things that as a parent she would share or as a mom, which is important to share with the children. How about you? You've had the Single Parent Advocate organization for 13 years. I mean, that's a long time. And you continue to excel. And we saw what happened again when you had this terrible, oh gosh, you're kidding. Where are the toys? Somebody broke into the truck. And then Fortunately, the good Lord was looking down and a lot of generous people here in the area said, let's make a difference. And so you ended up with 2 or 3 times as many toys as you had initially. That's a good thing. It's a Christmas thing. Thank you, Lord. And boom, we move forward. But how about you? What, as a mom, as a child, what are some of the things that you, as a parent, what would you like with all the people that you've met? And you've met, gosh, at your event the other day that you had me MC. I was just, again, as someone that had a degree in psychology, I was fascinated with watching the parents and how the dynamics of this one over here and how this one dealt with their children and how this one dealt with their 5 or 6 children. What comes to mind for you?
Well, I think I said it a little bit earlier, the power of community. I think when things, quote unquote, go wrong, and unfortunately, as single parents and the children of single parents, we automatically think that things have gone wrong and are always imbalanced. And my message is that, it's not fair. Don't compare, first of all. We are a type of family. We make up over 25% of the kids in America today are raised in a single parent home. And so single parents rock. And single parents face a lot all the time. Woo-hoo. And that is why I always want to talk about the power of not comparing, because a lot of times we look at that ideal situation. Rhiannon was talking about, on TikTok, all of the family coming together in one big perfect place and everybody's magically getting along and likes the same food. And like, what reality is that? Okay, but that's the one that we have in our head. And that's what we compare ourselves to as single parents and as children of single parents. And so, first of all, if you're a single mom, single dad, child of a single parent, do not assume you're broken. You're not broken. It's not fair to compare. The second thing I would say, Scott, is remember community. Whenever things go wrong, we kind of want to hide. We want to run. I know I did, but I got my courage up and I called and I asked for help and the community answered. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times a parent won't use their resources. They won't reach out because they think they're bad or broken because they want or need help. And I would just say rise above, take courage, and reach out to the community because there are helpers and people who care who will come alongside you and your kids. And that might be tough to find, but it is there, and we'd be happy to help.
It does exist.
And the third thing... What?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Can I just say, going off that too, the saying of having a broken family needs to just be completely erased.
Evaporated.
Yes. A broken family is not a thing. Just because you have a different family dynamic does not mean it's broken. I had a single mother who played both those roles completely fine, and it was not broken at all. So
Is your mom still around?
erase that.
Is your mom still with us?
Yes, she is.
And when she sees how successful you've been and continue to be, what are her thoughts? What does she share with you?
Well, she is very proud of me, but I would have to say I credit a lot of my success to her sacrifices, is what I say.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, as we head down the home stretch of the program here, we look forward to talking along these lines and other things for single parents and the children and whatever, whether it's the adults or the young people. But I just wondered, this is the time of year that New Year's resolutions, and here we are at that time of year that we're looking ahead to 2024 and what might unfold, and our world has certainly become one that without getting into politics, certainly one that is very different than any world we have ever been a part of as Americans. And I just wondered, as we look forward now, what are some of the things that you would like to see a part of your New Year's resolutions as someone that came from, I hate to say a broken home, but somebody that had a mom and dad that lived in two. I guess that is a broken home. If it's, but as you say, it doesn't have to be a negative broken home. It can be a positive if you have a couple of parents that are really focused on that endeavor, and that's most important. Both of you, I just wondered, New Year's resolutions and what you might share with our audience out there if they happen to be part of what we've been sharing here today.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great conversation going into 2024. One of my resolutions is to help over 1 million single families. I've already impacted 21,000 through social media, my speaking tour, but I'd really like to hit that 1 million mark. And I know that might seem crazy, but it's my goal, and I'm ready to achieve that through partnerships, my speaking tour, and visiting schools.
When you get up on stage, what's the first thing that you share? People introduce you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Rhiannon Graham. Okay, boom, you go for it. So what's your introduction? What do you say to people to let them know that you're excited to be there on their behalf?
I share my story. I grew up being a part of pageants like I've shared, and actually many people don't know that the Miss America organization has a little sister program for ages 3 to 12 young girls that can get involved and be mentored by a miss who's my age. And I was in that program at 8 or 9, and I truly think that my mom putting me in that program created me to be a successful young woman. So I just share that story of getting involved at a young age, and I hope that sharing my story of growing up in a single parent household, if I can impact one person in that audience at Miss Illinois, I've truly done my job. If one single parent feels like, hey, I'm not alone in this, there's resources, there's someone that became successful and defied the odds, then I've done my job.
Well, I wasn't going to ask you this, but one question that I ask, oh gosh, as a sports anchor for 30 plus years and just all the people that I've interviewed over the years, whether it's sports, whether it's military, whether it's medicine, whether it's corporate America, it doesn't matter who it is or what it is, but people that we've all come to know. And the one question that I always ask them is their legacy. And you just kind of hinted to that you want to do this, this, and this, and I'm so proud of this, and I want to do this, and I want to make sure I leave that. And you just talked about your book, and you talked about when you speak as a keynote. So how about you? Let's double your age, and suddenly you're 23 now, but in 23 years you're going to be 46. You're going to be approaching 50. You're going to be heading up where we are, for Pete's sake. My point is this.
Bless your heart.
Yeah. Here's my question. What do you want your legacy to be someday? We look back and we talk about Rhiannon Graham. Oh, I remember her. She was up there in Illinois. Yeah, she was in like those Miss America pageant things. What do you know about her? What was she like? What did she do? What do you want your legacy to be? How do you want to be remembered years and years and decades from now?
I want to be the relatable Miss Illinois. I think it's important to shows like Toddlers and Tiaras create such an unrealistic expectation of pageants. And a lot of times you can sit back and watch the pageant, but a lot of people don't know the underlying work that we do with our service initiatives, like I'm here with you today, or the hard work that we put in. And I want to be that relatable Miss Illinois that wow, she defined statistics and odds growing up in a single parent household where she was supposed to be addicted to drugs and alcohol. She wasn't supposed to graduate, but she graduated with a bachelor's with honors. She wasn't even supposed to be on a Miss America stage, but she became Miss Illinois. And I want that to be my legacy, that if I could do it, any young girl out there who's going through the same statistics and adversity growing up in a single parent household could, because they can.
Because you can. You got it.
Go.
You got it, my friend. You got it. That's right. And because they matter, they can.
There you have
How about
it.
you? Same question. All that you've endured and things like that. What's the and New Year's resolution? Let's start off with that. How about for you, Stace? What lies ahead in 2024?
I think 2024, just on the opposite side of the spectrum, is going to be a year of deepening my roots.
Uh-oh. Dun, 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 dun.
I want to do a few things and do them well. And so I've got such vision for single parent advocate as it relates to expanding our capacity. And so that involves a lot of different moving parts. And so I think there are some years where I want to reach 1 million people, and I want to, have that numbers impact. But then there's in other years, I think it's not like sitting still, but it's kind of pulling back and taking inventory and really going, am I spending my time on the thing that matters the most, the thing that's really going to change the trajectory of a community in our case, So.
All right. That said and done, we'll cut to you. Years from now, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, your great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren, they look at oh my gosh, oh my goodness, that was her? Really? Your legacy. How about it?
I roll that up in 3 statements. And that is love when love is not what you have received. Help others as you help yourself, and leave a positive and productive legacy for your children, your community, your coworkers, and
your co-hosts.
And your co-hosts,
okay.
For sure.
Put your hand up, Rhiannon.
Well, if everything we do and don't do lines up under those 3, what a wonderful world it'll be.
Yep.
Because we can.
Because you can. Okay. Cue cards. We do what we can, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's great. Well, I haven't said much because we've been responding to everything that you both have shared with us, good, bad, or whatever. But I came from the most incredible family I could ever think of, and I've tried to raise my son and daughter in the same way. But my parents were the most positive, passionate, just caring, purposeful people I ever met. And they're the ones that taught me because you can, because they're going to make a difference. And that's what it's all about. And I've tried to do that my whole life. And I'm so happy. I had 2 younger sisters and just lost one to breast cancer when she was 38, the day after she was named Special Ed Teacher of the Year. She found out that she had breast cancer and she was gone in 6 months. So that was a tough one on my parents. It was a tough one on the whole family. And she was very special, my little sister. And then I had one other sister that was a little younger, and she is up in the, she teaches at the medical school. She got an MD, PhD. She's a smart girl. Hematology oncology department at Children's Hospital up in Minneapolis, up near her children work at the Mayo Clinic. Just real proud of her. So it's just very positive. I've been very fortunate in my life. Now, not to say there haven't been some things that you'd like to change along the way, but for the most part, when I think of my mom and dad, they were my heroes. They were my rock stars. And lost my mom a year ago and lost my dad about 6-7 years ago. But still incredible people that make a difference.
Well, I love the message that you share with everyone, because I think what happens is, and Rhiannon, you can speak to this with me, we quit. We think this is impossible. Mm-hmm. I can't pick up that ball, or I can't get over a divorce at Christmas, or I can't do all the family gatherings. It's just impossible, right? You know? But the truth of the matter is, it's a mindset. It's a mindset, and it may not look like you want it to look like, but you can do it. You can be loyal to yourself. You can take care of yourself, and you can get up and go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything you'd add to what we've been sharing?
Absolutely beautifully said. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh my gosh, we weren't looking for compliments. I just wondered what you might add to it.
Well, I think that for sure the message here, whether it's coming from your perspective or Rhiannon's or mine, Scott, is don't give up. No matter what the curveball is, no matter whether it's at Christmas or whatever holiday or a regular day, remember you can do this.
Look forward to 2024 in a positive, productive way with great purpose. As I say in my pyramid of power, I think maybe we've shared this in the past, but 3 words on the 3 sides of that pyramid. All these words begin with P, pyramid of power. And what's on those 3 sides? Peace, perfection, and prosperity. 3 things that we all strive for in life. No question about that. We all want to have peace in our life. Perfection, we want to
have a goal.
We want to have a goal, and we want to get 100% every time. Not going to happen, but that's what we strive for. And prosperity. We all want to, whether it's money, whether it's whatever it might be, we want to prosper and do well in it. And inside that little pyramid, that little puzzle, are 15 puzzle parts that all, as you well know, you've heard me share this before.
Yep.
It's about moving forward in a positive, productive way. So what are those? Well, the first puzzle part down here on the bottom, as you strive towards the top, is passion. That's your vision, your goal, your dream, your desire, where you want to get to, where you want to be. But you've got to work at it to get there. You can't just dream about it. So you take that passion, put with it passion, preparation, perseverance, staying positive, productive, professional, poised, patient, prompt, polite, understanding partnerships and how you work together. Whether you're on a football field, in a classroom, in corporate America, you work together in a positive, productive way. And then have pride in who you are. Be yourself, respect yourself, and believe in yourself. And put together with that, philanthropy. That's right. Learn to be a go-giver. As I have said for years, live your life as a go-getter, but share your life as a go-giver. And then, got 2 more left. Right up here, principles. That's right. Being honest, as I call it, the trifecta of T's. 3 words that all start with the letter T. That who you are and what you're all about, trustworthy, truthful, transparent. That's who you want to surround yourself with. How about my phone? If I took this phone and put it down there and left the studio and didn't come back for 2 days, would my phone still be here? I doubt it. I work with a lot of great people, so I'm hoping that they would all, but maybe somebody that doesn't work here happened to walk, oh, look at that, a phone, I need that. And it's gone. Truthful, trustworthy, transparent. And you get to the very top of that pyramid of power, what's up there? Purpose. Who you are and what you're all about, your purpose.
That's right.
And that's what we've all shared today. That's what Rhiannon is doing. That's what Stacie has done for years. It's what I try to continue to do. Leadership America, creating champions of change through a culture of civility. So in 2024, I show my age with that one, didn't I? 2024, positive, productive. That's it. That's what we want to do. Be kind, courteous, and respectful. And we've lost that. We need to get it back. And that's what it's all about. So that's my spiel for the day.
And so that's your 2024 goal, is to continue to get that message out to everyone possible.
And let everybody know that they do have a purpose, and they are special. They are, in the most important word, positive people. That's what they want to be. Positive people.
How do you spin it around?
That's right. Whether you're this big or whether you're this big.
Be good.
All right. And guess who's going to have our closing comment? Rhiannon. Go for it.
I just want to say how thankful I am for today. And it was such a productive episode talking about reflecting on Christmas and our plans for 2024. And I just know that there's big things to come for 2024 within this podcast. So I'm super excited to kick off the season.
Well, you've got 2 people right here. They're going to be keeping you in our thoughts and prayers that you do well and end up being Miss Illinois. But I will say this, whether you get the nod and eventually get crowned, that'd be incredible. But if you don't, we love you just as much because of who you are and what you're all about and, what you do every single day. And that's the key. You have that positive purpose in your life, making a difference in the lives of those that need it most. That's what we're all about. because you
Thank
can.
you so much.
Yep.
You're very welcome.
We reach one life at a time.
All right. So
Exactly.
you want to say Happy New Year to everybody? We'll go around. Take it away.
Yes, happy 2024, everyone. I hope the year is filled with blessings.
And right back at you, Rhiannon Graham. And you, my friend?
I would just say Happy New Year, everybody. You don't need a new you. Just be yourself and make it a great year. Take care of yourself out there.
Stacie Martin, Rhiannon Graham. I'm Scott Murray. Be smart, be safe, be strong, and let's get it right in 2024. Till next time, stay well.